Hi everyone. So welcome to XAT Poems. My name is Abhilasha and I'll be taking you through this session. Well, before we begin anything, let me quickly give you this announcement that the Career Launcher PDP has already started. If you have got you've done your CAT, you've done your NMAT, you've done your SNAP, and you already know you're on the way to the GDPI process, then this is just the right time to begin, because the PDP, you will get personalized mentorship from the pioneers of PDP at Career Launcher. All our marquee faculty will be taking the PDP. So do make sure you join. All you need to join up is to scan this QR code and you're on the way to joining the PDP. Don't waste your time. Don't wait till the last minute, because there's a lot that will be done that you will need to do before you get ready for the PDP or before you get ready for your interview. So therefore, do make sure you're joining in. I hope I'm audible and visible. And here we are. Let's start off. So this is poem RCs. My name is Abhilasha. I'll be taking you through a few poems from past XAT year exams. Now, why is it that we are doing poem RCs? Because over the last so many years, poem RC has been an integral part of your XAT examination. So for the last 15 years, I think there's not been a single XAT when poem RCs haven't come. Sometimes they've given you 2 poems, sometimes they've given you 1 poem, but whatever the number of poems, you've definitely had 2 or 3 questions from poems. Now, generally people do not like poems because, of course, it's something different, isn't it? And anything that's different scares us, frightens us. We don't want to do it. We don't like the idea of doing poems, and therefore we feel unhappy and strange and weird. But if you have seen the XAT poems, what you will have realized is that if you apply yourself even a little bit about poems, 2 poems, you will be able to get it right. And therefore, today's session is focused on doing some poems. I'm not doing a lot, I'm doing 3. The XAT classes, of course, we are already covering a lot of poems and all of that. So here's some poem RCs for you. Let's do this. Some poems, okay? These are all XAT poems only, so they've come in the exam. This is one of my favorites, Sylvia Plath is the poetess, and Plath, of course, is one of my favorites, and therefore here we go. Let's read it first together, and then we will try and understand and then take it forward. So, black lake, black boat, 2 black cut paper people. Where do the black trees go that drink here? Their shadows must cover Canada. A little light is filtering from the water flowers. Their leaves do not wish us to hurry. They are round and flat and full of dark advice. Cold words shake from the oar. The spirit of blackness is in us, it is in the fishes. A snag is lifting a valedictory pale hand. Stars opening among the lilies. Are you not blinded by such expressionless sirens? This is the silence of abandoned souls. Now, if you remember, or if you know anything about Plath, you will know that she was someone who was deeply depressed and unhappy. And this poem was written just after one of her multiple suicide attempts. And she and her boyfriend or lover, he was taking her to an island and he took her there to recuperate. And this poem is written there. So the black lake represents deep depression. The black boat is a funerary boat. So they're going on that. And these 2 black cut paper people are people who've been cut out of black paper. So they're actually hollow or empty. So shows the hollowness within Plath by this representation. Where do the black trees go that drink here? So in this lake, this water is black. So the trees also become black. So if the water is depressing, sad, unhappy, melancholia is there, then where are these trees going? Where is this blackness going? Their shadows must cover Canada. So see, look at the depression or look at the melancholia within Plath. She says that these black trees must be so big that their shadows must cover Canada. So her depression, in that essence, the blackness, the melancholia in her soul is so big that it will cover Canada. Then a little ray of hope from a little light is filtering from the water flowers, the water lilies. So little light is filtering. You can see a little light. Their leaves do not wish us to hurry, so they want you to be there. They're round and flat and full of dark advice. So there is advice, but there is melancholic advice coming. Cold words shake from the oars. So when you're traveling in the boat, there are oars, and the oars are shaking the water, and so words are also coming out. The spirit of blackness, the depression is in us, but it's also in the fishes. It is so it is so much around Plath that she says that depression is even in the fishes, because it's the black water, the black trees, black fishes. And then she sees a snag is a piece of wood. So a piece of wood is jutting out of the lake, and she says a snag is lifting a valedictory, means a celebratory hand. Stars are opening among the lilies. So now here is a little bit of hope that sort of comes out and blossoms from her heart. And she says there are stars opening among the lilies. So the water is there, and you can see the reflection of the stars in the sky in the water among the water lilies. Are you not blinded by such expressionless sirens? So she asks this, that sirens are people who call you and then kill you, right? So such sirens which do not make any sound, are you not blinded by them? This is the silence of abandoned soul. So this silence is that of those people who are depressed, who've been left, who are abandoned. So that is the statement that the author gives. Now, let's take a look at the question. So, which of the following options best explains the effects of the images in line 1? The line 1 images are black lake, black boat, 2 black cut paper people. So, everything is black. See the repetition of the word black happening again and again. I would say it is an anaphora, because black, black, black. Anytime a word repeats over a number of phrases, then that is called an anaphora. So that clearly the figure of speech here is the anaphora. But anyway, so what is the image in line 1? The first line encapsulates the theme of the poem. The images are suffused with an overpowering sense of rebellion. No, black does not show rebellion. The atmosphere indicates a cyclical nature of life and death, but it's all black. It is not death. It is all death, and there is nothing about life here. So not see. The black lake lacks regenerative potential. It's dead. The water is dead. Black boat is a funerary boat, and the cut people are unreal. So the author was trying to show that everything is dead or hollow. The repeated use of black suggests evil. No, it does not suggest evil. It just suggests depression. So you are looking at the effect of the images in line 1. That is very clearly shown by D. Not that it is the theme of the poem, but the black is showing this. Let's look at the next question. Which of the following options presents a convincing evaluation of the line stars opening among the lilies? So we have spoken about this, that in the water there are the lilies, and in between spaces the stars in the skies are reflected. So a little bit of beauty is shown there. So the stars are flowers in the sky, and the flowers in the lakes are stars. No, this representation is not what. The ethereal light of the stars get reflected among the lilies. It may or may not be ethereal, but was that the evaluation? No. The spirit of blackness does not hinder the appearance of beauty in nature, which is symbolic of hope blossoming in the soul. Yes, even though everything is black, there is a snag that is lifting a valedictory pale hand. There are stars opening among the lilies. So there is some hope that is blossoming in the poet's soul. So everything is not all death or all dead, right? So that's your poem. Okay, let's look at the next option. The mirror images the worlds above and overlap. No. The lilies purify the dark into light as symbolized in and by the stars. No, there is no purification. So clearly the poet just wanted to say that the spirit of darkness is there, but that darkness is reduced by this hope that is blossoming in the poetess's heart. Okay, so that's your poem. Very beautiful and very simple. Let's look at the next one. This one was from last year. Look how you turned on the ceiling fan. It's too high. See how it shakes and trembles. You walk into this room with your hot ideas, and the ceiling fan has to work harder to cool down the room for us. You walk into this room with your crazy eyes, and the ceiling fan wants to fly loose. It dreams of becoming a spider lily. Very interesting, now. So the poet again is talking about somebody coming into the space and uh, making the ceiling fan, which probably represents the poet, um, all nervous and shaky and excited and trembling and very passionate, right? So look how you turned on. Turn down means to excite someone. So to turn down the ceiling fan, it's too high. The ceiling fan is at a very high position. It is probably nervous. See how it shakes and trembles. Then you walk into this room with your hot ideas. Hot ideas would be passionate, interesting, invigorating. And the ceiling fan has to work harder to cool us, cool the room for us. So maybe it takes time to, make everyone more calmer, more serene, more passionate, less passionate. You walk into this room with your crazy eyes. So yes, this person is extremely excited, and the ceiling fan wants to fly loose, wants to run away. It dreams of becoming a spider lily. Very interesting poem, huh? All right, what is the theme of the poem? The poem conveys a subtle art of argumentation and counter, but there is no argumentation and counter argumentation. The fan wants to become a spider lily, okay, just wants to run away. The poem talks about the inner conflict resolved by an attempt to restore, but is the conflict resolved? No, the fan is running away. So the resolution hasn't happened. So not A, not B. The poem talks about a conflict between transformation and escapism, but it's not the conflict between transformation and escapism. The fan is not trying to escape, okay? Or at least the poem, that conflict is not there. The poem conveys fear and anxiety due to a loss of stability. Yes, the fan is very high, it is shaking, trembling because it's been switched on. So D is a good choice. The poem conveys quest for self during emotional turmoil. No, it is not the quest for self that is being conveyed. So fear and anxiety of the fan, and that's the correct answer. What does the author best mean when she says you walk into this room with your hot ideas and the ceiling fan has to work harder to cool down the room for us? That the person brings with him passionate, intellectual, and emotional energy. Okay. That the person's presence creates palpable tension in the room. That the person's hostile presence makes others feel unwelcome. That the person's presence develops self-doubt in others. That the person's presence makes the ceiling fan lose its ability to handle intense energy. Very interesting poem here and very interesting thought. So this one, of course, if you look at it, it shakes and trembles. It's too high. You walk into the room with hot ideas and the fan has to work harder with your crazy eyes, and the ceiling fan wants to let loose. So the minute this person comes into the room, everything in the room is getting very shaky and nervous and anxious, and there is, tension, right? Because the fan has to work harder to cool down the room for us. That means everyone is tense. So therefore the correct answer should be that the person's presence creates palpable tension in the room, not that his presence is hostile, right? So not C. Not that he's developing self-doubt. It was that the fan has to work harder to cool us down. So there is anxiety and stress, all of that. So not D. And the fan loses its ability to handle intense energy is not to be interpreted. The fan is working. He brings with him passionate, intellectual, and emotional energy, but this fan has to work harder. That sense is left. So therefore, the best answer here will be option number B. All right. I sought a soul in the sea and found a coral there. Beneath the foam for me, an ocean was all laid bare. Into my heart's night, along a narrow way, I groped, and lo, the light, an infinite land of day. So now this is again one of those poems where the author is searching for something, some meaning, and he looks for some meaning in the sea inside his heart. The sea is a representation, a metaphor for his heart, and found a coral there. A coral is something very interesting, some it's a again, it's a metaphor for some deep, what should I say, something very deep, some deep thought, some deep realization that the author has had beneath the foam for me. So he's found that something that will help the author. And an ocean was all laid bare. So everything is very clear once the author finds this coral. Into my heart's night. So my heart is very dark. Heart's night is very dark. Along a narrow way. So the author is looking along this narrow pathway. There's not much to see. He's groping. There isn't light, right? And then suddenly he sees light, an infinite land of day. So he's able to see, from this tunnel that he's in and this narrow pathway that he is in, he's able to see the light, he's able to understand the world, and he's able to see where everything is. Okay, so what is the essence of the poem? What lies outside is always deceptive. No, it's not always deceptive, so eliminate. Pursue the narrow path and avoid the broad ways. Again, this pursuing the narrow path is okay, but was it about avoiding the broad ways and only pursuing the paths? No. External search is futile. Explore the inner space for answers. I'll put a star on this. Heart's pathway are broad and clear to find the destination, but no, the heart's night, there was a narrow way. So is it broad and clear? No. Light offers sight and insight. No, again, see, this poem is a metaphor, right? The light is what? The light is realization. So what the author has said is that I was looking here and there, but when I went inside the foam, that's when I found everything. So this search has to be internal, it has to be inherent within yourself. The search is not external. So therefore the best answer here will be that external search is futile. You need to explore the inner space for your answers. All right, guys, the test series for the non-CAT 2025 is already on. Your exams are closest to the exam set structure. Put yourself to test today, enroll now. Again, you can scan this to join us, and that's that. All right, we'll stop now, guys. Thank you so much.